When are
We're
we
live.
ready?
We're
Huh?
live.
Hello, everybody. This is Harvard Hollis Barnhart, one of the boys hanging out with Wayne Root every single week for the last 30 something years. And anyway, if you got to get a hold of myself or Wayne, just go ahead and feel free to email me at jbplayslv6@gmail.com. Either myself or Wayne answer all the emails. Anyway, I'm sitting here with Zach, my partner for many years, and we're going to be looking at a couple things. One, a lot of times, Zach, some people, they get in there, they do this on their own, they lose a few games here and there, and then all of a sudden it seems like the last game on the board every single Saturday is the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. And I'm telling you right now, there's a couple secrets to betting that game. And I think what we want to do is talk about this game for in case somebody needs a bailout contest, a bailout game. So the Rams, they're going to be on the road as they travel to face Hawaii Rainbow Saturday night, and Colorado, they were on a bye last week. That follows. They probably needed it because the week before they lost 41-23 to Alabama. Played down there September the 16th. Hawaii, in the meanwhile, they dropped their second straight game with a 28-21 overtime loss on the road. And that's not bad, coming over here to the States and playing it into overtime against a nice Wyoming team. Now, Colorado, they open up conference this week. And and before I go any further, Colorado State, when they played, even though the score was very misleading, when they played Alabama, they actually were hurt by turnovers, but they had a 33, almost a 34-minute to 26-minute margin of time of possession difference, and they held that possessions. Right now, Colorado, they're tied for 20th in passing offense with 306 yards and 172 yards running the ball, which is 480 yards of offense. Nick Stevens, he's been completing all his passes, it seems like 96 out of 164. He's had 8 touchdowns. He's had a few too many interceptions for me. I don't like that, especially on the road, but what are you going to do? He's a college kid. He's also good as a dual threat. He rushes the ball. Dallin Dawkins, he leads Colorado with 51 carries. And another thing that is amazing is their field goal kicker, which always is very important. Wyan Bryan, he's booted every single, I think he's had 14 extra points, and he's made all of those, and he's also kicked 6 of 6 field goals. So anyway, they're up against Hawaii. Hawaii, they're not so bad this year. Some of the trends that I like to look at is the against the spread win or loss over a nice long period of time on this bailout game. Right now, it seems like it used to be that everybody would be betting on Hawaii in Hawaii, and they were getting crushed against the spread. They used to be able to bring their own referees and things like that, but now they've grown up a little bit. They got to use different conference referees. But I think a lot of people in their minds, the bookmakers, the odds makers, they set the line and they really heavily set it to where Hawaii doesn't cover very often. They're 3-13-1 in their last 17 home games against the spread. So 3 out of 17. Well, something tells me that's going to switch around. You're not going to keep going against the spread, and the bookies aren't going to say, hey, let's go for, another heavy laden points and things like that. This is going to be a very, very close game. It's going to be very high scoring like they normally are. Colorado State, they've been very effective offensively, and they've had an extra week, but sometimes an extra week could spell trouble for college kids. Plus, they're going from the altitude. They're going over to Hawaii. They got extra time there. I'm going to look for Hawaii, who has a pretty decent team this year. They won the first 2 games, and then they lost 2. But Hawaii plus the 7 points, and that's what I'm going to be playing for my little bailout game on Saturday. How about you, Zach?
Yeah, I think we're in agreement again here, Hollis. I think it's going to be 5 or 4 of the last 5 we've been in agreement. What I like about Hawaii, like you said, last week they played in an overtime game against a Wyoming team that's been a little bit shaky. So obviously they covered that, but they almost won that outright. You go back home with confidence against a Colorado State team that a lot of people like. Colorado State, they blew out Oregon State to start the season. They showed well against Alabama, which he made some great points on there, Hollis. And they have one of the few four-year starters in college football, Nick Stevens. So he's a quarterback that you would expect to come out of a bye week and have his team ready to go. But they took a beating against Alabama, especially defensively. Hawaii has that confidence, and you talked about it. The point spread advantage is now going to side with Hawaii. It's going to be a nice four-quarter game here. And I think Hawaii, they might not win it, just like last week. Might fall short just again, but they'll hold within the number.
Well, another thing, too, when they played in Wyoming, their quarterback, Cole Brownholtz for Hawaii, he only threw the ball one time. I mean, that's when have you ever heard that in college? Throwing one time? So they got some guys that are so big. Some of those Islander players, I think they're from Samoa, or some Hawaiians that are just huge, fast, and I mean tough. And they just like bulldogs in the trenches. I don't think that they'll turn the ball over like Colorado State's having trouble doing and all that. So I think we're pretty both safe. I like to see that we're both on the same page with this. So let's take Hawaii plus the 7 points and go over to the pros on our next video.